Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox, and I am coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 10, Episode 10. So let's get to it, shall we? So Candy tells us, Riley just turned 15 and got her learner's permit. Makes me nervous. Girl, you ain't got to tell me nothing about teaching no kids about driving, how your nerves be bad. I pretty much taught Joe and Jada how to drive. I'm sure they responsible for a good patch of gray hair up underneath here, child. I'm telling you, that shit is scary. But it's, hey, regular fare. Riley is learning to drive. You know, they act like they know exactly what they doing if she's anything like Jada. Okay, Jada swears she been driving for 15 years, child. Once they get back to the house, they get a call from Block. Okay, and I was just like... I mean, literally, that was my attitude. As soon as I heard his name, I was just like, oh, God. About to be on here getting on our fucking nerves. And I said, okay, Roxanne, that's not fair. Let's be fair. Let's give him a chance to be stupid. So anyway, Block calls because it was, like I said, it was Riley's birthday, right? He can't get to her right now. Block is excited, okay? He's telling us that the king is here. The king would be his new baby son that's being born at the time. And, you know, he has the right to be excited. A lot of times when parents realize that they fucked up with one of their kids, you know, they try to make up for it with the other ones. I mean, Riley is not his only other child, and maybe his other children feel some sort of way as well. But as far as Riley is concerned, you got the king coming and you've been ignoring the queen all this time. You know, Candy was just like, I told Riley that she has a new baby brother on the way. And she's sort of looking at Riley because Riley has this look on her face like, she probably doesn't. I think Riley is over talking about all of this stuff on camera. Okay. It was a lot that went on last season. And maybe she's about ready to just kind of retire this part of her life from the public and deal with it, you know, just within her family. Now, Candy does admit that Block has been trying since last season. Maybe he saw on television how he was acting and wasn't too proud of it. We just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's not doing this for the camera, that he really does want to have some sort of relationship with his daughter. But now Riley is not necessarily one to want to come around for her dad. And that's understandable too. Like, I don't have this issue. My parents were married until my mom passed, but I have been around plenty of people to know that just because one parent decides that they want to be active in their child's life now, you know, that doesn't undo years and years and years of hurt, of being disappointed, you know, of you not being able to be with your parent at that time. So one can only sympathize with Riley. When they get off of the phone and they go in the house, I was just like, okay, I'm about to get emotional. Like, let me, Roxanne. I don't even know why, you guys, because it's not that time of the month. That's how you know that scene was so heartbreaking when she went in the house and cried. Oh my gosh. You know, to be 15 and not be... I don't even know if she can really put together her feelings, how she felt. She just knew that the fact that he was so excited about one, you know, I was just like, I felt so bad for her. She was crying. You can tell she was just hurt. And Todd was like, what happened? You know, and Candy was trying to be there for her daughter. And even when the baby was like, no, Riley, I was just like, okay. You guys, let's move on from this part. So, okay, we got to try to figure this out, right? Block comes over. And again, he's still excited. You really got to bring in the maturity level on your own and try to not be so fucking irritated with him and the fact that he's excited about his baby boy, okay, the king. But you also know that maybe you can bring it down a little bit, considering the fact that your daughter, you know, is kind of feeling some kind of way. I don't even know if Candy was good at explaining to him exactly how Riley feels. And I don't even know if Block even understood at that time why Riley is so emotional about everything. I really honestly believe in his mind, in the ignorance that is Block, and that's not being like me trying to be like super disrespectful, but I think he really is ignorant to the fact that he's hurt this girl to the point that he has. And a lot of times you purposely be ignorant because you don't want to deal with it. Okay, y'all don't make me get these psychology books out on that ass, because I will. But all of this is common sense. Like, I don't know if Block really understands how Riley feels. And again, you know, I don't think Candy is the best at explaining herself. But when she said that they needed to go to counseling, I was like, yeah, you guys probably could. Now we can look at Block and tell that he ain't the counseling type. So I thought it was good that he actually was open to it. And again, I'm a hope and pray that this is not for camera's sake and that he really does want to have some sort of relationship with Riley, because poor Riley, that girl is hurting. Like, I just was like, yeah, it's time to not put this on the TV. Let this season, and they haven't done it too much. And thank God that Mama Joyce is not around to like even muddy the waters even more. But it's time for them to deal with that outside, because you have to remember, like, Riley is a teen. She is in regular school. She's not homeschooled or anything like that. So she still has to deal with a lot of this shit that, no 15-year-old really should have to. So what y'all think? Don't y'all think it's time to wrap that storyline up? Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. Then we see Sheree. She gets a call from the jailbird. Okay, Tyrone. It's your regular back and forth talk between a man and a woman who lust and seem to love each other. Okay, he asks her how her back is, and she says it's still fucked up. That's one of the reasons why she's not going to be going to Houston. We're going to talk about Houston in a minute. But yeah, she's just like, I'm going to be home, nursing the back. Okay, you need to come and take care. I said, oh, girl, don't even start it. Anyway, we don't have to really get into this too much, because the whole thing with Tyrone and Sheree and Nene, we're trying to bring this triangle together and say that let Tyrone and Sheree tell it. When Nene was separated from Greg, or may not have been separated from Greg, Nene was pursuing Tyrone. So they say that Nene was pursuing him hard and that he was not interested. She wasn't his type and all of that. Let Nene tell it, because there's actually a video going around where the producers are interviewing Nene about Tyrone, and she says how he was actually pursuing her and that she wasn't really interested. They went out on a date with a group setting. I guess she says that she wasn't really feeling Tyrone. I'm gonna stop. So, depending on who you ask, what time of the day, which producers is in the room, okay, that you would get a different story on Sheree and Nene and the jailbird that is Tyrone. I guess we'll hear more about that as the season progresses. And then the whole Houston thing. So Portia says that she is ready to get started helping the relief efforts out in Houston from Hurricane Harvey. She's a part of a charitable family, Hosea Feed the Hungry and Homeless. The homeless and hungry. You hear that name very often out here in Atlanta. So she had asked all the girls to pitch in, when they were at the Elephant in the Room party. So I don't know if who actually agreed to help her there. You didn't really get an idea who was really with it, but while she's talking to us about it, she gets a call from Shamia. Shamia wants to help. And Portia's not really sure, how she should take Shamia. The last time they was together, was in front of Candy and all of them. So, she and it didn't go well. Portia would just like for Shamia to acknowledge that, she was acting out, that she was, trying to embarrass her in front of the Candy-coated clique. Now we see Candy and Cynthia. They go out for dinner. Evidently, Kenya was supposed to show up as well, and Kenya didn't. Do you guys feel like you're being steered in a certain direction with the storyline with Kenya and her being married and everything? I just thought it was very strange that Cynthia kept on saying shit like, just because you're married now doesn't mean that you should ignore the girls. She's very dedicated and, she's all about being a married woman and everything. I just felt like Cynthia was being kind of guided into saying shit like this. I mean, not that it doesn't happen all the time, but this time it seemed more obvious that they were trying to edit the show to be negative towards Kenya. Okay, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. While Candy and Cynthia are talking about, the elephant in the room party and how the shit went bad, and, the medium was a mess, and, when Kenya had to shut down Kim, and Kim being a mess, and all of that. We get on to the whole issue of Portia inviting everybody to help out with the Houston efforts. Candy, well, don't nobody really like her, so that's why people was not really all that receptive. Even though it shouldn't matter, because hardly don't nobody like nobody on the fucking show, and whenever people do stuff, everybody kind of buries the hatchet and goes and support. So when Candy said that, I was just like, Candy, why you got to just... Now we know we ain't nobody trying to make Candy be Portia friend, but stop throwing all of, the extra, salt in the way. Anyway, while they're there talking, Cynthia specifically says that her event is Friday night and Portia's event is Saturday. So, if Portia is coming to support her, then it's only right for her to go back and support Portia. So she said that when she was with Candy. Once they get to Houston, it's Portia and her sister, it's Cynthia and her sister, okay? And they're in the car, and, they're about to go and get started with these relief efforts. And, again, they're having a conversation. Portia's like, I'm so happy that we out here, and we together in sisterhood, just helping. Cynthia again said, yeah, your event is tomorrow, mine is today. I'm going to come to your thing tomorrow, you come to my thing tonight. Okay, so it was still, we had already agreed. You have said it now 2 times to 2 different people that you were going to do this event, right? Now, put that in the memory bank. So anyway, Portia and her sister, Cynthia and her sister, they go to a location where it looks like they're feeding people, and they help, dish out food and give out other things that are needed, cleaning supplies and things like that, to the residents. But this is not Portia's event. This is just something, even though it was Portia's family, I believe, was the one that had kind of sponsored this thing. It still was not officially the event that they were supposed to be going out there for. All right. But Cynthia and her sister and Portia's sister and Portia, they did do the work, okay, and they had been there, looked like they had been there a good part of the day. Shamia even shows up. Portia was like, it's weird that she's there, but she's glad she's there, but she just doesn't know if this is the time for her to be trying to make amends. And I mean, I guess she meant that because she probably was feeling like they could start fighting over that, because otherwise I was just like, well, why couldn't you guys make amends? This seems like a perfect time because, everybody is in that giving mood. You start to realize what is and isn't important. You start thinking that, shit that we done made small and minuscule that we have made big, when there's people out here who have lost their entire lives, it brings some perspective to this whole, stupid fight between the two of them. So I was like, well, maybe she meant that, she doesn't want to get into any fight and take any attention away from, the events and the reasons why they're there. But whatever, Shamia shows up. She wants to help as well. That evening, Cynthia has her event. She says that it is a benefit concert. So they're going to raise money, and they're also going to lift souls, people that might be down and depressed about what has happened in their community. And again, it's all this, we all together for one for all and all for one, sisterhood. I forgot to tell you guys totally that Kenya was supposed to not be coming to the event, but once everybody sings and they have a good time watching the entertainment, Kenya does surprise Cynthia. It's like, hey, I'm here, and Cynthia's so happy to see Kenya, and I was like, good, Kenya made it. I was looking at Kenya and I was like, something is off a little bit. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I sensed something from the very moment that Kenya stepped foot into the benefit thing. Now, put that on the side burner too. We see Portia and Shamia. Okay, after the events, they go back to the hotel, and Portia and Shamia are able to talk. I felt like you were really being shady in front of everybody else and trying to humiliate me. And long story short, Shamia doesn't really 100% admit that she was doing the extra and the most, okay, but she was, okay? Even if you was pissed about what Portia was going through or might have been lying about or whatever, you was doing a little bit more for the fact that Candy and Karma was right there. But whatever, they decide to let bygones be bygones. They've been friends for years, and they hug it out, and they friends again, and they done fixed it. Now, the next morning is the day for Portia's event, and also now that Kenya is in town, Kenya, she decided to make some calls and decided that she would help along with Habitat for Humanity and go out there and tear down these homes, that got all the water damage and everything. And, so Kenya is having an event all of a sudden, and Portia's having an event. And I realize that everybody wants to have their own event. They're their own character on this very popular reality show, right? Okay. Portia's event is at 12 o'clock. Kenya's event is at 11 o'clock. Originally, like we said 2 times, Cynthia had already told Portia that she was going to come to her event, right? Okay. That's not what exactly happens, though. Now that Kenya is in town, Cynthia has kicked to the curb Portia and has decided that she is going to now work with Kenya. And when I was listening to that, I was just like, Okay, now in the grand scheme of things, it don't matter. Okay, let me say that right first. It doesn't matter because everybody's help is needed everywhere, right? Okay, but when we just talking about the principalities, when we're really talking about what it is, you said that you was going to help Portia. Okay, like Portia said, now that your main man is in town, and you didn't kick the side hole to the curb. And so I was just like, wow, Cynthia, you really are going to do this. I mean, Cynthia never could see that she had just dropped Portia the way that she had. Okay, she kind of dismissed it as, I'm gonna really try to get over there if I can, but I'm gonna be with Kenya, and we're gonna have a lot of work to do, and and Kenya was sort of like, ugh. The whole time, I can see why Portia felt the way that she did. But like I said, it doesn't matter, right? Everybody got to do what they fucking got to do. So everybody grown, everybody go do what they got to do. Kenya's out at the Habitat for Humanity, and I could not understand the attitude of Kenya. I mean, she was really in we got to get this shit done mode. And at first I was just like, okay, maybe she's just really trying to be focused, okay? People were there suffering and struggling and lost everything, but then they want to take pictures. And, this is not the time to play. So then I was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool because, that should have end up on the blogs and people be like, you out here supposed to be helping these people and you taking pictures, you all glamorous and all that. So I got all of that, right? Okay, so they go in the house, but she going way, way, way too hard. Just kind of dismissive of everybody. When Cynthia tried to get a water break, Kenya ignored her like, no, we ain't taking no damn breaks. We gonna get all of this shit done. Okay, Shamia calls. She's just trying to get the location of where you are. And Kenya's just like, whatever. Hangs up on her. Call the assistant. I'm not the assistant. And I was just like, what is going on? So this is when I started thinking like, why do I feel like I'm being, the editing is off and they're definitely trying to make it seem like I feel like there's a part of the story missing because Kenya has really made a lot of strides to be a different person. And all of a sudden she is just like in this other kind of mode. I mean, it really gave me old Kenya vibes. So then I was just like, what is really happening here? Even when Shamia gets there, Kenya still puts her like on trash and, she's still very rude to Shamia. So I was just like, what's happening? Anyway, going over to Portia's event, she's going to be feeding a bunch of people. I actually saw this on her Instagram. I remember when this was going on, actually. She has this event. She's going to be feeding the people in the community. She had planned on feeding 400 people. They said over 2,000 people showed up. They didn't have enough food at first, and then she got emotional. She was upset. I can imagine being in the thick of things and just already seeing so much devastation. Your emotions would get the best of you, and you probably would feel helpless too if you got all these people waiting in line. You ain't got no more damn food, okay? But the day was saved. They were able to get the food. She fed over 2,000 people. That event went all day because you could see at the end it was nighttime. So I'm sure she was exhausted. I'm sure it was a long day. Okay, whatever. When it was over, everybody goes back to their hotels, I assume, get dressed for, a late dinner. So they go to dinner. It's all of the girls minus Kenya. And they sit down and it's at a you know, you're in Houston, Texas, and I'm sure that they've got a lot of little, you know, kind of little local barbecue places. Not the swanky places that they usually go to, but I mean, damn it, we here already on some struggle stuff anyway, you know, with the shit that's happening in Houston. So can we just be a little easy going with it, okay? So they go, they sit down, everybody's fine. But Shamia does have to point out to Cynthia how, you know, it's kind of foul that she didn't go to Portia's event. And Cynthia is not trying to hear it, okay? She was just like, no, she didn't really know that Portia's thing was, you know, 2 days. She had already did the thing on Friday, and, you know, they did go back and show us what was said, where Cynthia said very clearly that she was going to Portia's event. You know, these are the things, these are the parts of Cynthia that we don't like. The fact that Cynthia just, when her friends get involved, sometimes she gets tunnel vision and she doesn't necessarily see the big picture. But yeah, it was foul. You were wrong, Cynthia. At least from what we can tell, from what we saw, you were wrong. You should have stuck to your word and at least showed up at Portia's thing. Because Portia was just like, I was disappointed that you didn't even make it there. Shamia didn't point that out. Actually, Portia's sister did. I think I said Shamia. But anyway, finally, Kenya shows up. Now, I don't know what time Kenya gets there, but it's late enough for the kitchen to be closed. Okay, so she's upset about that. She can't eat. Okay, then she wants to order a drink, and they say, well, all they got is beer and wine. You know, she was just like, what kind of place do you guys have me in? Okay, I was just like, so this is when I started to feel like, what exactly is going on with Kenya? I feel like it was edited worse to make Kenya, now Kenya was tripping, all right, but I feel like something had happened for Kenya to be acting this way, because I feel like Kenya has really made strides to be a better person now that she's this married woman. I almost hit y'all with the air quotes, but I actually believe that she's married. But why are you this mad? All right, Shamia was telling her that she was being dismissive, and Kenya didn't want to hear it. Okay, she was all wrapped up in her emotions and, you know, real defensive, when I was just like, when everybody is really on some, you know, we all real here, we all real level, and you way up here. Like, what is going on with Kenya? So something was strange about this episode. Kenya showed her ass, and then Cynthia co-signing on it just made it even worse, you know, telling Shamia it's obvious that you were upset. I was just like, Cynthia, you shut the fuck up, because you was wrong for the shit that you did. But how did you not see how Kenya was acting? You couldn't even fucking get a water break. So I was just like, Cynthia, don't sit up here and take up for your friend whenever your friend is right. But when your friend is wrong, then you need to admit that as well. So I was just like, this is giving me old, you know, season 7, season 8 vibes. And I didn't like it. So Kenya gets up. She goes to the bathroom. She's upset. This is why her husband don't want to be on the show, because they always trashing his wife. And she don't give a fuck about none of those bitches out there. Everybody out there is stupid. And I was just like, where is the temper tantrum? Why is this temper tantrum happening? Because it doesn't match what is going on. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm really not giving Kenya I'm not giving her an excuse, because she was a bitch. She was fucking tripping. Okay, I was over Kenya. But the other part of me, the more analytical side of Roxanne, when I watch these shows, I know when I'm being coaxed into something. I can tell when I'm being guided into a way of thinking. And I feel like that's what they were doing with Kenya. Okay, because it's like, I need some reason. I need some reason why she's acting. She was acting a fucking fool. Child, Portia tried to get up and go talk to her, and, you know, Kenya didn't want to hear it. Okay, told Portia that she could not talk to her. Okay, flipped off the damn camera people, and I was just like, all this when you really was acting a goddamn bitch out there at the damn the Habitat for Hungry, Child, I'm gonna get all Hosea feed the hungry and homeless, and the Habitat for Humanity. Child, all these H's. I guess it was Houston, right? Gotta tie it together some kind of way. But I was just like, yeah, no. Okay. Ken, you was tripping. You was acting a bitch. I just wasn't happy with the episode, because I feel like there's some trickery going on. Did you guys see it? Or is it just me? It didn't make sense, y'all. It didn't make sense. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. My mind is just crazy, because I just got some information, and I'm just like, just shocked. This is personal family business and shit, but I'm just like, it's crazy. So I hope that my video made sense, Because sometimes, child, shit'll happen right before you do a video, and then it'll just completely throw y'all off. You know, so Roxanne is trying to keep it focused. Let me get off of here, you guys. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the video, to the family. Don't subscribe to the family. Subscribe to... Okay, let me start over. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.